We've all heard the phrase, ignorance is bliss, but is it really true? Well, some say yes, others say no. We think there are certain things you should ignore if you value inner peace. The effects some of these can have on your mood will shock you, so let's explore them together. Here are 15 things that you'll be better off just ignoring in life. Welcome to Alux. Number 1. Reading deliberately negative news. Did you know that more than 2 million news articles are published online every single day? And that wouldn't be a problem, we all love to stay informed, right? But over 90% of those articles are either negative or straight up fake news, as some would call them. Ever wonder why? Well, because that's what gets people emotional and drives the most traffic. There's just too much noise going on in the world, it's almost impossible for our brains to process everything. Recent studies by psychologists have shown that consuming too much of this kind of news, whether actively or passively, will work against you. That's because what you read and hear impacts your mood, and it's time to fix that. So we find this a good enough reason to stay away from the negative news as much as possible. Stick to the stuff that is directly relevant to you. And on a similar note, number 2, propaganda. If there's one thing that's trending all over the world, it's the lack of trust in politicians. According to national election studies, trust in politicians and fair economic policies has quickly declined in the last 2 years. High levels of corruption among politicians are a sign of poverty, which can lead to insane wealth gaps. And who wants to live in a world like that? Staying poor is not an option. It's high time we all escape the matrix. And Alux is here to help you reach your full potential. Just take the self-improvement pill with us. Okay, jokes aside, but recent events have created a breeding ground for conspiracy theories and propaganda. It's absolutely wild out there. It's more vital than ever to hone your critical thinking skills and make sure you can filter out all the noise and pay attention only to what matters most to you, your family, and your industry. Number 3. Doomers and toxic people. We all know at least one person who's always negative and projects their nihilistic views everywhere they go. Nobody likes to be around these people, and the internet has even categorized them under the nickname Doomers. Look, take a rotten apple and put it in a basket of healthy apples and see what happens. These people are not inspiring, and hanging out with them is a nope from us. Remember, we tend to act and think like the 5 people we spend most of our time with. Your vibe attracts your tribe, so here's a fix. Find more Aluxers and go take over the world with them, because you guys rock. But seriously though, if you value your inner peace, you'll be better off just ignoring doomers and their nihilistic view on the world. Number 4. Things that are not under your control. What's the difference between a person who is always calm and relaxed and a person who is always worried all the time? Well, most likely the first person knows how to filter the things that are under their control apart from the things that are not. This is a mental crutch we often see in books about stoicism. Some consider it the paradigm shift that we need to go through in order to live a more relaxed and fulfilling life. But the truth is, we have no control over the majority of things that are happening around us. Ignoring them and focusing on the things that you actually can control will serve you a lot better in life. Remember, it's not what happens to us, but how we respond to the things that matter. Number 5. The little frustrations of everyday life. On a similar note, imagine you're late to work and suddenly it starts to rain and everything looks like it's set up for a bad day. Your spouse is blowing up on the phone, your boss is mad at you, the stock market is collapsing, and everything feels like it's going to fall apart. It's a fact that days like this are inevitable in everyone's life. The best way to deal with it is to arm yourself with a detached mindset. Fact check. In the grand scheme of things, most of this doesn't actually matter, and the negative feelings associated with certain events are just going to pass. You can choose to be mad at the weather, or you could choose to be grateful for being alive and experiencing nature. It's all up to you, my friend. If you sense the feelings of frustration creeping in on you, just ignore them as best you can and fight back with some gratefulness. Marcus Aurelius, Rome's most loved emperor, used to say, "Nothing happens to any man which he is not formed by nature to bear." Rich and successful people are always high on stoicism. It just works. Number 6, dwelling on the past. Now, this is a thing a lot of people in the modern age have a lot of trouble with, and for good reason. Dwelling on our past actions is a psychologically proven source of anxiety, and also a reason why a lot of people fail to get ahead in life. It's a fact that humans cannot change the past, but we can focus on how we're acting in the present moment. Instead of letting your past mistakes define you, see what you can learn from them. Besides that, can you really trust your mind with recalling unbiased and complete stories about yourself? Probably not. In this case, dwelling on the past seems to be an irrational thing that weak people tend to do. Avoid doing it as much as possible if you want to enjoy the present moment. Number 7, worrying about the future. We bet you didn't see this one coming. But seriously though, worrying about the future will cause you to lose a grasp on the present. If you're taking care of what you're doing right now, things will flow into place. Let the future take care of itself. You got enough going on right here. Besides, it's uncertain anyway, so why even bother trying to get lost in there? Daydreamers are the most vulnerable to this. Whenever you feel like you're lost in all kinds of scenarios about the future, just ignore them and get back to your to-do list. That's how you go places. Number 8, doubting yourself. Humans are masters at doubting themselves. Asking yourself if you've got what it takes and if you're going to make it will not get you far in life. But that being said, focus on growing your confidence level by trying things out and being determined in life. Well, that will. Embrace failure as a part of the process, and whenever you feel doubt creeping in, just ignore it and trust in your ability to accomplish anything. Self-belief and having realistic expectations play a key part in this. So set yourself an accurate time horizon if you're just starting out. We know you've got what it takes, otherwise you wouldn't be here watching this. Number 9, striving for perfection. Paradigm shift time. Don't strive for perfection, strive for excellence. People who chase the perfect life, the perfect spouse, the perfect job, the perfect everything are the ones whose life disappoints the most. Okay, but why? Because they set themselves up for it by having unrealistic expectations. This is one of the biggest psychological burdens social media has poisoned us with. Stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, work on writing your own version of success. Start by building your ideal life and sowing the seeds of happiness. Make a plan, write it down, and execute it. Soon you'll see yourself moving toward excellence and prosperity. Just trust the process, okay? Number 10, random distractions. If you want to have a meaningful life, you can't get distracted at every step, especially if you're a high achiever. To be more precise on what we mean by random distractions, we're talking about procrastination, watching endless TV shows, clubbing, etc. These can hold you back from achieving your goals and ambitions. Random distractions feeds what Stephen Pressfield calls resistance in the book The Art of War. That's a must-read, by the way. Just find out what's most important for you right now, ignore anything that distracts you from it, and see what happens. Number 11, other people's judgments. One thing we all must learn as early as possible in life is self-reliance. People who know how to think, not what to think, are rare and their voice matters. Pay attention to that, but not at the full expense of your own intuition. Besides that, the more you care about what others think, the more you're going to feel enslaved by their judgments. And that can affect your happiness because it's not under your control. If you feel yourself getting too attached to what other people think, dismiss them and focus on building your integrity. Number 12, fear of the unknown. When we discuss survival mechanisms, the fear of the unknown is one of the most terrifying things. This is why a lot of people are not willing to take risks and decide to play things safe. Fortune favors the bold, my friend, and life rewards those who are willing to venture out into the unknown and face the things most alien to them. The unknown leaves a gap for us to fill in with our own thoughts. So when you feel this fear overwhelm you, just let it pass through you and not over you. That's an Easter egg for you Dune fans out there. Number 13. The fear of death. There's nothing more absurd than fearing the laws of nature. Aging and death are a part of the natural order of the universe. Understanding and embracing them is a key to reducing anxiety and living life in the present moment. The more you get attached to your ego and identity in the material world, the more you're going to suffer. So our advice to you, Aluxer, when it comes to this, is to walk the Buddhist path. Practice gratefulness for every day that is given to you. Number 14. The urge to check your phone in the morning. Recent studies have shown that immediately turning to your phone when you wake up can ruin your day. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. When you open up your phone first thing in the morning, you create the context where an overwhelming amount of information hijacks your brain. And all of this happens before you even have the ability to wake up properly. This bad habit will ruin your ability to be productive and can often make you feel directionless. Do some yoga, take a cold shower, and try to ignore your phone in the morning as much as possible. Number 15. Advertisements and social media trends. We live in a world where everything is trying to sell you something. Advertisements and social media trends have invaded our lives. You don't need to be a genius to realize that. And since endless scrolling was introduced, things have gotten progressively worse. The algorithms have evolved so much that more and more people are starting to worry about their privacy. Some are even questioning the social impact certain trends have on their daily life. It's not a surprise how many people are considering quitting social media once and for all, and really, who can blame them? And that's a wrap for today, Aluxer. Which statements resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share the wisdom with the world. And because you made it this far, we've got a bonus tip for you, the true Aluxer. Number 16. Impatient thoughts. Patience is a virtue all humans should practice. We live in a VUCA world, or volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, where quick results are everything that matters. The problem arises when we tend to apply this rule in our daily life. Personal growth takes time. Building a business takes time. Everything takes time. Being impatient will make you rush through things and potentially ruin your progress, leaving you disappointed. We'll let you meditate on that one, and if your mind is still hungry for knowledge, we suggest you watch this video next for tons of knowledge bombs being dropped.